This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, June 14th show. I'm empowering our community, providing you with opportunities and solutions when it comes to anything regarding your money. And if you're listening or hearing my show at a different time or day, you're listening to a rebroadcast, but I'm here to assist, to answer any questions that you have, and most importantly, to connect you with any of the guests that I have in studio. Please pick up the phone, give my show a call, 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com. And any of the segments that you hear today, you can type into our search engine and find the guest by name or by topic, and you can re-listen to anything that you're hearing. And in studio right now, first time in studio that I've had Debra Trapen with D11 Consulting. Debra, thank you so much for coming into studio.
Thank you for having me. It's a blast to be here already.
And I'm excited. I do a lot of business with Debra personally myself, and it's just exciting to have her here. She is such an icon in the industry. She presents, does speaking engagements all over in my arena when I'm working with real estate agents. So it's exciting to have her share her information on branding. Debra is the owner and chief experience creator at D11 Consulting. The D11 mission is partnering with women in business and companies who want to connect with them and build engaging brands online. Her passion is ignited when helping her clients get to the core of their personal brand to build a business and enjoy their life. Everybody wants us to do that, or everybody wants to do that, to be able to enjoy their life, but we also want to have a successful business. And the combination of the two, I think, is sometimes difficult. And what Debra, in her frequent speaking, she talks about blogging, social ambassador for conferences and organizations to really help to get that balance and to maximize your business at the same time enjoy your life and your family, which is back at home.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for coming into studio, Debra. So let's talk about personal brand. And I think that's a key thing, is when you're out there and clients are looking you up and you're referred by somebody, the first thing they're going on doing right now is online. And I learned that from you and got a real lesson on, really the branding. I'm redoing my radio site because of my coaching and counseling through you. So all my listeners, be excited to see my new site. It's going to be up very, very soon. So Debra, let's talk about the importance of personal brand.
Sure. I think it's important to actually understand what personal brand is. And it's a specific image or impression in the minds of others about you. So I get the question a lot, like, do I have a personal brand and do I need one? And it's always absolutely. And yeah, you already have one. Mm-hmm. The thing the little nutshell that I like to put it in is, it's what people say about you when you're not in the room.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the gossip. I'm talking about when they say, effervescent, high energy, or always calm under stress. These tidbits about you that people think of when you're not with them. And it's so important to be able to use that to build your business, because there's so many choices out there. There are many real estate agents. There are many mortgage reps and escrow professionals. And so how do you actually stand out and become memorable? Well, you use your personal brand for that.
Yeah. And I have to use you again myself as an example, because I'm going through this process. And if you look at my radio site right now, it's not the one that Debra is putting together for me, because we're going through a lot of rebranding with that. But I did want to make a lot of changes to my personal website for my mortgage industry. And I never talk about this in studio, but I have some real core principles, business principles, leadership principles, and personal inspirational core values. And so just putting my quotes that, I have 3 quotes that I wrote, and they're my core of everything when it comes to my personal inner self and my inspiration. And it was really nice for you to go, you know what, those need to be on your site. And I've had so many comments from clients. That's the first thing that they see when it goes across the screen. And so, it's really important. I appreciate so much, because you don't think about that in the business side. You think personal is different than business, and they're separate.
Right.
And how can a business owner build their personal brand?
Well, I think it's important to also remember that building your personal brand is building your business, because a strong personal brand creates a magnet to your business. The concept is when you define your values, as we've talked about just with your business, when you define your personal core values, they usually translate over into your business, as well as things that you're passionate about. So if you're passionate about wine and dogs and yoga, you want to share that with the world because you want people who are getting ready to do a transaction to have something in common with you.
Sure.
And because of what you've mentioned before is that people go online, they look to learn about you, that they're looking for a nugget that you have in common. And so when you do that, when you actually define it and put it out there like a quote, it triggers people. It inspires them to want to know more about you. And it's a side benefit that they're inspired by what you love, because that means you have that commonality right from the start.
Makes total sense. So what about a niche, Debra? How important is it to have a niche when it comes to your business?
You bet. Well, I think having a niche or a niche statement for me is really about a personal brand statement, right? It's helping you understand what makes you unique, what is compelling about you, and who your ideal audience is. So if you ask yourself, what would someone find interesting about me, that you have to find out who the person on the other side that's asking that question is. And so when you go through and you look at your personal brand statements, then you ask questions like, who is my ideal client? Who do I love to work with? And you can start even with, who are the last 5 clients that I've done business with that just fired me up and filled my tank, as opposed to maybe the 5 clients who kind of sucked the life out of you. And that does happen. You get referrals and things don't work out and you feel it, they feel it. So focus on the ones that you have in common, the ones that you love to work with, and then figure out what their problem is. So what are you going to solve for them? Really, who do they want? What do they need? And then what's the solution that you're providing? So if they're ready to purchase a home, they might be ready for a real estate agent at this point. So think about those kind of questions and be the answer, and then make a promise that you can keep. So, and make that compelling again, something that's interesting and memorable. Personal brand is you, but you have to be memorable for them to remember what you said in the sea of sameness and noise.
And I think you're going to be a better business owner by not wanting to attract everyone, because we each have our individual personalities, and not to say that it's bad or good, but if you're a driver, you're going to connect really well with drivers. If you're an influencer, you're going to connect well with an influencer. And we are in sales, so we're supposed to adjust our personality to accommodate to anyone's needs. But the reality is, I'd rather spend time just being who I am and attracting the people that want to work with me, and the ones that don't, that's okay, And so I think just having everything and really being able to share your story is so important. So we've talked about personal branding, Debra. We've talked about the niche, and what's the next step in getting engaged in social media? Because that's kind of where I'm going with my radio. As soon as the site gets up and we're completed with that, then it's going to be, how can I connect better with my listeners on social media, because I'm not really doing that.
Right, absolutely.
I won't tell you what Debra said when she looked at my my radio site, but that's
Thank you for that's for behind closed doors. I think the interesting thing with, again, what we're talking about, personal branding translating into business, is that personal branding isn't about becoming famous to the world. It's about becoming intentionally and selectively famous to the people that know, like, and trust you, or should know, like, and trust you. So when you think about how do you translate that onto social, it's really important to know what your purpose is there. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to increase your visibility or build credibility? Are you trying to uncover new clients or business or find friends? It's sometimes, we know a lot of times in business, we start business with our friends. So we don't always have to be talking about what we do for a living. We can be talking about what we do for fun, find friends and build a sphere that way. And then, just finding out what's going on in companies that we'd like to break into. So knowing that is important, because that translates. Do I use Facebook? If I really want to reconnect with my sphere, that's where I go. If I want to uncover people I've never met before, I always like to say Twitter is kind of like door knocking in this century. But you get to choose who they are and what they have in common with you, so you don't have to figure out in 10 seconds what you have in common. You're searching for that. And all sorts of other things. If you like visual representation, then you can use platforms like Instagram and Pinterest to tell your story, because, a picture's worth 2,000 words these days because we put words on our pictures. So there's lots of ways to translate that story. It's just find one or two platforms that makes the most sense for what you want to accomplish.
And I'm glad to hear that, because there are, how many social media platforms are there? Like a ridiculous amount. And
There's
so how
hundreds.
do you, and which was, I heard that somewhere. Maybe I heard it from one of your presentations, but it was surprising because I thought maybe there was 10.
Well, there really are 9 core, but even if you just focus on the 9 core, all you're doing is social media.
Yes, exactly.
And you're not doing your business.
And we've got to do our business, make money, and talk to clients.
Yes, please.
So are there some general tips to get us started towards a richer engagement level on social media?
Absolutely. First and foremost, be yourself. Be authentically who you are. Do not pretend that you are Mary Sunshine if you are an Eeyore by nature. Embrace who you are. Also, second is Google yourself or Bing yourself. When was the last time you did that? Because guess what? Whether you're going out on a date for the first time or someone's looking to do business with you, they are searching you out. A tip on that is put your first and last name in quotes so that it only searches for your name, not your first and your last name.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll pull up every Tina and every Mitchell if you don't.
Okay.
Also, update your profile pics. This is something I get on a soapbox quite a lot about. We're not looking for glamour shots online. We're looking for ways for people to recognize you and feel comfortable when they're first seeing you. The last first impression you want to make is, oh my gosh, you look so much older than you do on Facebook.
Yeah.
So get that profile picture updated. And then the last tip I'd love to leave with all of you is remember there's a progressive power of emotional connection and engagement on social media that we underestimate. Think about how it feels when you post a photo and that feeling that when you wait for somebody to like it for the first time, or when they comment and how that makes you feel, or even more epically when they share it with their world.
Sure.
Think about how that makes you feel and do that for the people who you're connected to.
Yeah. Makes it. That's great advice, Debra. And if you go to themoneyhour.com, all of us in studio, you'll see our recent pictures literally like an hour ago. We had them taken right before we started our show. So you'll always see recent pictures for us. Debra, thank you so much for coming in. And thank you for all you're doing for my personal brand in my mortgage business and really helping my radio show to get to that next level. I'm excited to see where we're going to be in the next few months. So thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. I cannot wait to get it fired up for sure.
Yay. This is your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, signing off for the day. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, everyone. And you can actually re-listen to the show tomorrow because it re-airs on Sunday as well. If you missed any of the show, or you can always go online to themoneyhour.com, search in the search engine for any topic that you're interested in. I'm sure that I've had it in studio. Look forward to talking with you and talking money next Saturday right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Thanks, everyone.